Hello. Thank you for joining me today. Now I will address the origin of the universe as it relates to Pantheism Plus. This is the third part of the book, Pantheism Plus, a challenging meditation on reality. One thing that science alone does not yet take into account is that it does not provide any explanation of the first cause for the existence of the universe. While simply citing a God is not an entirely satisfactory explanation because the existence of one cannot be proven irrefutably, the fact that science does not supply a first cause is another reason why I, personally, believe that there is a God, even if, as many scientists cite, this universe may be one of many possible universes, or it originated from a black hole, or it is the only successful universe after previous ones failed and imploded. No first cause for these other universes is explained. There is a first cause for everything. Thus, there must be a first cause for the universe, which may be explained, albeit not satisfactorily, by the existence of a God. The dilemma in relation to this explanation is the question that is frequently brought up in response to such an explanation: how can something create itself? Unfortunately, this is a dilemma that cannot be explained away, nor can the question of how something, the deity, got there without itself being created. It is essentially a string without an end. In order to explain the existence of the universe, you would have to develop a string of creators that go back infinitely. However, I agree with Thibeault when he said, how can a universe of mindless matter produce beings with intrinsic ends, self-replication capabilities, and coded chemistry? While science can easily explain how self-replication capabilities and coded chemistry work in that they don't necessarily imply the presence of a deity, this universe is full of great wonders and mysteries, some of which cannot be explained away logically. If you do not believe there is a God and remain steadfast in that notion, you will likely stand with science's explanation of the beginning of the universe without any amendments, or align oneself with one of the other possible hypotheses that I mentioned. This universe is one of many possible universes, or it originated from a black hole, or it is the only successful universe after previous ones failed and imploded, and say that this universe ultimately began with a Big Bang, which is when an immensely hot, dense, and energetic mass or singularity that contained one superforce, rather than the four that exist now, gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces, and all the matter that exists in the universe today, exploded and continued to expand to become the universe that we know today, which we know is still expanding. Hydrogen and helium atoms quickly formed and, later on, stars, planets, and galaxies. However, if you do believe that there is a God, then divine oneness must have been this first cause, and, in fact, must have caused the Big Bang, which made the universe that we know. You may ask, didn't you say that divine oneness is the universe? How would it create itself? All I can say is that there must be an underlying consciousness that governs and pervades the universe. Divine oneness is at once the universe, but also the controller of itself. Divine oneness is then the consciousness that created the Big Bang, and what resulted from it is a consciousness that continues to govern itself. Divine oneness is simply responsible for itself. By this definition, I do not suggest that divine oneness is apart from the universe any more than your mind is apart from your body. Your mind is one with your body, but is aware of your body and controls your body to some extent. Here is where the comparison ends, because your mind is not the same thing as your body, but divine oneness is not differentiable from the universe. What is being suggested is that God is everything and everything is God, but what we understand as God is also a universal consciousness that pervades everything and is responsible for everything. This places a conscious power in control of the universe and responsible for its creation and continual evolution, while at the same time this asserts that this power is all that there is. However, pantheism alone does not account for the origin of the other than ascribing the naturalistic process of the Big Bang. Pantheism simply accounts for the nature of the God if one exists. It does not explain what gave rise to the Big Bang in the universe that we see today, nor how a God would have done such a thing. To account for this, I believe in the pantheistic explanation for the origin of the universe. In the quest for such an explanation, Pantheism seeks to incorporate logically reconcilable elements of pantheism and theism. The belief that a God designed the universe but no longer exists in a status where it can be reached, that is as personal God, and can instead be confirmed only by reason. It is therefore the belief that the creator of the universe actually became the universe in the process of creation. 1. The creator, or divine oneness, it is contended through a series of logical proofs, not only designed the universe but in fact became the universe, transferring all of its energy into the creation of the universe and so ceasing to exist as a separate being. In short, pantheism is the belief that a deistic, godlike entity of massive but not unlimited ability became our pantheistic universe too. The Everything Too page on pantheism states that pantheism suggests that all things are part of the nous, a God, which has chosen to exist as our universe. This nous is presumed to be rational, at least to the degree that rational thought is required to create a rational universe, as ours is observed to be, and the further presumption follows that this nous had a rational purpose in becoming our universe. 5. Though this purpose is merely a matter of speculation. In support of this pantheistic view of the origin of the universe are such sound, logical arguments as those also brought up by the Everything Too page on pantheism, one of which is as follows. Pantheism derives from a logical and rational examination of our universe itself to determine the necessary and supportable capacities of an entity responsible for such creation. In so doing, the theory follows our Kant's razor and prizes rational simplicity. That is, it establishes the characteristics that are demonstrably necessary, and it discards all characteristics that are unnecessary in explaining the existence of our universe as we experience it. 5. Everything Too page also states, in fact, that pantheism as a logically and rationally plausible idea may also be bolstered by scientific findings, such as in the case of the following peer-reviewed journal of Polaricy. The scientific plausibility of pantheism was much bolstered in the 2005 peer-reviewed article titled Emergent Consciousness, From the Early Universe to Our Mind, published by Polaricy, an astrophysicist hailing from the lovely shores of Italy. Sissi calculated that under a looped quantum gravity theory, the emerging universe undergoing cosmic inflation could itself have acted as a kind of quantum computer, achieving the threshold of computational complexity sufficient to experience a period of intensive consciousness, termed the Big Wow. Sissi considers that such a momentarily conscious universe may itself have had the power to select the conditions for our specific universe out of the superposed multitude of possibilities. Put more simply, it is mathematically possible that the universe expanding forth from the Big Bang took upon itself a moment of consciousness, and in this moment exercised the ability to set the future course of the universe, choosing one that would achieve the fortuitous results that we now experience. 5. Ultimately, if you do not believe in a God, it is only logical to cite purely naturalistic processes for the origin of the universe, but if you do believe in a God, pantheism, which does not conflict with what science has revealed about the nature and the origin of the universe, is the philosophy that makes the most sense in accounting for this. Thank you once again for joining me, and this discussion will continue with part 4 of this book. Goodbye, and may peace, love, and happiness be with you.